How's everybody doing? I recently posted a video regarding former Colombo captain Richard Ferrara, who apparently cooperated with the FBI and is presently in a Staten Island restaurant that he has a piece of, greeting customers. Since posting the video, the message has been coming in on a daily basis. It seems a lot of Staten Islanders were very interested in that video, and many of them not only spoke about Ferrara, but someone else who's involved in the restaurant by the name of Rocco Miraglia, the son of Rocco Miraglia Sr., a deceased Colombo captain who years ago was allegedly tossed out a window by Crazy Joe Gallo. This took place after an argument on President Street in downtown Brooklyn. He didn't die from those injuries, but of natural causes in his 90s. Rocco Miraglia Jr. is quite the character, to say the least. He's a Colombo associate who's a 5% owner of the same restaurant that Richard Ferrara put $1 million into. He's also a bagman for the Colombos and is the person who traveled down to Florida to see Ferrara, as well as in the restaurant in Staten Island, to collect envelopes for the Colombo administration. But that's not where the story ends. Moraglia has a lengthy criminal history. In the 1990s, during the Colombo War, he was charged with possession of a weapon, a bulletproof vest, and conspiracy to murder, in which he received a 5-year sentence. In 2014, he was a former New York Post foreman and charged with conspiring with a union official and an employee of the Latin newspaper El Diario to acquire a union card for Benjamin Castellazzo Jr., the son of Colombo underboss Castellazzo Sr. In that case, he received probation after pleading guilty to mail fraud in September 2015. In 2018, Moraglia was arrested over a domestic dispute incident for punching his wife in front of their child. The police on the scene also found a loaded .357 Magnum. Strangely enough, that case is now sealed. Moraglia was never convicted or sentenced for the weapon. It's important to keep in mind he was a convicted felon at the time, and the statutory max on a gun for a felon is in the neighborhood of 10 years, with the minimum being around 6 years. One of the people who reached out to me regarding Moraglia happens to be related to him, and this person gave me an earful. It's believed the feds intervened in 2018, a state case, and the only way this would happen is if the government had more pressing charges in a federal case, which would naturally supersede. Except for Moraglia, there was no pressing federal case. His family member explained that he'd been selling Oxycontin and believes that the FBI and DEA got involved. Apparently, one of his suppliers that he dealt with was soon after arrested and given a 30-year sentence. Moraglia also pulled some lowlife moves with his mother, like cashing in her Social Security and forging the title of a car and then selling it. His relative also stated that he suspected of wearing a wire involving another case. This person didn't state what the case was or who was involved. Several other people, and this information came from 3 different people, stated that Lucchese member Spanky Castelli went to the Colombos with information of some sort, calling Moraglia a rat, which, by the way, I'm hearing that Spanky is doing this sort of thing to a lot of people, but that's for another video. Anyway, the Colombo administration got wind of what Spanky was saying and sent word to the Lucchese administration for Spanky to immediately stop calling Moraglia a rat. 2 people have told me that he's either related to or has some kind of connection to a high-ranking Colombo. And another person said the following: they, meaning the Colombos, use Moraglia to collect envelopes from Ferrara, and they're concerned that he can hurt certain people, so they're protecting him. And one of the ways was putting Spanky in check. And the same person said Spanky was sternly told, stop talking about the guy, by Frankie Bones Papani. Okay, as most of you know, I'm far removed from that life since 2018. Nonetheless, I'll explain to you viewers how this situation's supposed to go. With all of the smoke surrounding Moraglia and the fact that a Lucchese member brought some type of information, whether it be paperwork or not, to the Colombos, They should have chased him immediately. And by the way, do you remember the photo of his father sitting with Carlo Gambino that I showed earlier? This photo. Guess how it came to be on the internet? According to a lot of people I've spoke to, Moraglia sold it to someone on social media. He also went around Staten Island telling people that Benjamin Castellazzo, the Colombo underboss, was going to straighten him out. In Cosa Nostra, this is a major violation. I spoke at length how Richard Ferrara was essentially given a pass, and this was due to the amount of money that he's handing over. If you haven't liked this video yet, please take the time now and give it a like, as it helps with YouTube's algorithm. Anyone who'd like to show their appreciation for videos like this, or more importantly, help me to continue making them, you can donate with the Super Thanks icon down below, or through the PayPal Cash App links in the video's description. Let me quickly mention my blog, also called Sitdownnews, especially for those of you who still enjoy reading. The site can be found at sitdownnews.com and is a paid subscription. In that life, once a guy cooperates, whether a member or an associate, no matter what the reasoning may be, money should not be a means of dispensation. If we look at all the things that surround Moraglia, any person in that life would recognize that something's not right with him. How, as a convicted felon, can he get caught with a loaded gun and receive no time? The case regarding the gun possession arrest is sealed, a red flag. Apparently, the FBI took it over, and possibly according to what his family member is saying, the DEA was also involved. When someone gets arrested in Staten Island, within 2 days, the majority of the island knows about it. Yet here's Moraglia still walking around free 8 years later. Wouldn't that raise eyebrows? Well, actually, as mentioned, it was questioned and some sort of proof was offered by a Lucchese member. But the Colombos put a stop to that kind of talk immediately, which seems to be a new trend that I find crazy. I can see if someone is saying or accusing a guy of being a cooperator or an informant with no proof, no paperwork, then the right thing for the mob to do is to tell the accuser to stop the gossip until they can produce paperwork, but not put a stop to it if someone's offering proof. Here's the bottom line. Whoever's protecting Ferrara and now Moraglia should be shelved immediately, no matter what position he holds.